couple of days ago, me and a group of friends went to see Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith in the cinema for its 20th anniversary, and I had such a strange experience with it that I wanted to come on here and talk about it. Now, many people within my age, so the 20 to 25 bracket, grew up with the Star Wars prequels. This was our era of Star Wars, and it was huge. I mean, there was toys, all kinds of merchandise, loads of games, and of course the films themselves were very popular, and I think everyone's favourite was obviously Revenge of the Sith. I absolutely loved the film as a kid. I had it on DVD, all the prequels, in fact. I had them on DVD, I had the toys, just loved it, thought it was awesome. And then, of course, well, I also loved the original trilogy, I want to stress that as well. But then, of course, I mean, as what does happen with a lot of these things is you kind of grow out of things. And the Star Wars prequels, by the time I'd grown up a little bit, I saw problems with them, specifically the first two films, which I do still think are incredibly poor movies, filled with terrible acting and really awkward dialogue, a lot of CG effects that haven't aged very well, and just kind of all around clunkiness. These same feelings also applied to Revenge of the Sith. I rewatched all three prequels about 3 years ago. In fact, I watched basically just the original six films and Rogue One, because they're the ones I wanted to watch. I don't have much interest in watching the new trilogy again. But so rewatched them and just came to the conclusion that I think the prequels are terrible and I didn't see the hype. Now, Revenge of the Sith, amongst the Star Wars community, the prequels themselves even, is what's interesting to me, but specifically Revenge of the Sith, in the last couple of years since that trilogy, I think I've really had a massive reappraisal amongst the Star Wars community. Now everybody seems to love the prequels, first two included. And I, for this number of years, have not been able to understand it. But, so a couple of nights ago, a friend of mine asked me if I would like to go see Revenge of the Sith with him, and I, basically just wanting to hang out with friends, agreed to go. Now, I've had many discussions and fallouts with mates over Revenge, not real fallouts, but joke fallouts, over Revenge of the Sith and my kind of controversial opinion of it, as an adult man. So we watched the film, and I had such a strange experience while watching the movie that I think many people would have also had. Is that I actually really, really enjoyed myself. And you may be thinking, there's nothing strange about enjoying a film, but it was a combination, that element of nostalgia that I had, specifically for seeing this film on the big screen, was so much fun seeing this on the big screen. And, you know, there was obviously an element of ironic enjoyment as well because of all of the many memes and kind of jokes that the film has spawned over the years. Don't get me wrong, I don't think the movie's amazing. I think it's full of kind of crappy acting and some awkward story, but I just felt like a child again. Like, I understood why I loved this so much as a kid, and that gave me plenty of enjoyment as like an adult, that kind of nostalgic joy. It was a really fun experience, and I went with a group of guys who were all of the age where we all grew up with Revenge of the Sith, and I think maybe, well, I hope we all had a similar experience. I mean, we all had fun, but like, it kind of just reminded me of how huge the Star Wars prequels era was, and you know, the Clone Wars cartoon came from it, and so much merchandise came from it, many of which I had and loved as a kid, and it just kind of put me in a happy place. Now, I don't think that applies to the first two prequels, because I think they're much worse films. I think Revenge of the Sith is by far the most watchable of the three, but I don't know, I had a really fun time with it, flaws and all, able to recognise all that the film kind of doesn't do right. I had a fantastic time, and you know what? I have to say that John Williams score is absolutely spectacular. It's a given that the music in Star Wars is good, but the music in this film is truly awesome, and by far the best thing about it. I love Emperor Palpatine. I think he's such a fun and entertaining character. Hayden Christensen's performance is pretty dreadful, but again, kind of in an ironic way, I can enjoy it. I enjoy Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think he's a lot of fun. And the pace of the film is good, and you know, it's just, yeah, it's become, after this viewing, a very nostalgic, fun, guilty pleasure, and I really enjoyed myself. And as a result of seeing Revenge of the Sith at the cinema the other day, I have all weekend played the original Star Wars Battlefront games and had an absolute whale of a time. So that was my experience with the 20th Revenge of the Sith re-release. I really, really enjoyed it. I think a lot of people would have had similar experiences, whether you love the film or maybe were like me and didn't love it. You could still have had a sort of change of heart watching it again. So that's all I wanted to say about that. Thank you for watching.